Crowd crush kills at least 149 at Seoul Halloween festivities. Seoul, South Korea. CNN. South Korea's first big Halloween celebration since the end of COVID restrictions turned to tragedy on Saturday night when at least 149 people, mostly teenagers and young adults, died as partygoers surged through a narrow alley in a popular nightlife district in Seoul, officials said. Authorities are still investigating what caused the incident, but Choi Seong-bum, chief of the Yongsan-gu Fire Department, said it was a presumed stampede and that many people fell, injuring at least 76 people. Revelers had poured into the Itaewon nightclub district to enjoy South Korea's first Halloween celebration since crowd limits and face mask rules imposed by the COVID pandemic were lifted. Witnesses said that even before the chaos broke out, partygoers were packed so tightly in the narrow streets that it was difficult to move around. I saw people going to the left side and I saw the person getting to the opposite side. So, the person in the middle got jammed, so they had no way to communicate. They could not breathe, witness Sung Se-hyun told CNN. He said the space was like a jammed subway. Authorities received the first reports of people buried in crowds around 10:24 p.m. on Saturday night. Yonhap news agency reported that some people had suffered from cardiac arrest, attributing the statement to fire authorities. Emergency officials assisted at least 81 people in Seoul's Itaewon neighborhood reporting difficulty breathing. But early suggestions of a gas leak or fire were discounted. Police closed off the area and social media videos showed people wearing Halloween costumes lying in the streets and on stretchers as first responders rendered aid and queues of ambulances formed to take away the injured. Dozens of people were transferred to nearby facilities, said Choi Jae-won, the head of Yongsan Health Center. The bodies of the victims were transferred to multiple hospital mortuaries, authorities added. The Seoul city government received reports of missing people as friends and families searched for people known to be at the event, who didn't come home. As the sun rose on Sunday, police officers were seen scanning the sidewalk for personal belongings and pieces of identification as they tried to determine the final number of injured and dead. Foreign nationals among the dead. People fly into Seoul from all over Asia to celebrate Halloween in Itaewon, and this year's event was seen as a welcome return of festivities after the pandemic. Hotels and ticketed events in the neighborhood had been booked solid ahead, and large crowd were expected. However, before midnight, celebrations took a dark turn, as the first calls for help were made from within the crowd. Witness Sung said he had to push his way through the throng earlier in the night to get clear of the busy streets. I was lucky to get through, but an hour later, I heard people got killed. Because it was people get stamped on. And people get jammed together. The majority of the casualties were South Korean. 2 foreign nationals died and 15 foreign nationals were injured, Yongsan Fire Dep Chief Choi Seong-bum said. The disaster prompted a massive response of South Korean emergency workers. More than 1,700 emergency response forces were dispatched, including 517 firefighters, 1,100 police officials, and about 70 government workers. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol sent a disaster medical assistance team to the Halloween incident and ordered authorities to rapidly identify the victims for the sake of worried families, according to Senior Presidential Secretary for Public Relations Kim Yoon-hae. Yoon activated an emergency management headquarters with Prime Minister Han Duck-soo in charge and ordered Interior and Safety Minister Lee Song-min to begin an investigation into the cause of the incident, Kim said.